Welcome to PD on the Go, the podcast that delivers bite-sized learning on communication, collaboration, and facilitation for busy teacher leaders. Tune in while you're in your car, on your lunch break, or making copies, and get ready to level up your leadership skills. My name is Hallie Case, and I'm with the Office of Professional Learning in Fairfax County Public Schools, and I'm joined today by two of my colleagues.
Hi, everyone. Rebecca Hazelbeck.
Hello, Mary Beth Anderson.
Okay, so on last week's episode, we talked about defining the loose and tight expectations of a collaborative learning team, a CLT. And one of those tight expectations was having a collaborative team that works interdependently. So sometimes what we find is that we're being more cooperative with each other than collaborative. So, Mary Beth, what is the difference between cooperation as a team and collaboration as a team?
Yeah, so let's start with cooperation. So cooperation is more like coordinated actions. So think when you divide and conquer, maybe we're working to create the study guide and you're going to do questions for one standard, you're going to do questions for another standard, I am going to do one. Or maybe we're bringing shared resources. So it's often like parallel work and it's driven by like tasks or a timeline. And often you'll see cooperation happen when like there's one person in charge and they might be like assigning things. And so a little sentence you can think of is like, I'll handle my part, you handle yours.
Okay.
So that sort of cooperation.
Like we're cooperating with each other to get these tasks done because there's so much to do.
Yeah, there is.
Right?
Yeah.
So it seems efficient.
And you're getting your work done, right? Because everybody has a part in it. So that often I think that can be misunderstood or misrepresented as we're collaborating because we're all working on the same task, but we each have our own part. So it's more like that parallel work.
Okay, so then, Rebecca, what's true collaboration?
Yeah, so when I think about true collaboration, we're working towards some sort of goal together. So whatever that goal is, we are all taking ownership for that goal and making sure that we're accomplishing it. We're also focused on continuous improvement. We're making sure we're getting better and better and better as a team instructionally so that we're benefiting all of our kids. So it might be building something from the ground up, whether that be an assessment that we want our students to take or some sort of activity. We're coming together, we have our goal, and we're coming up with that together. We might be analyzing student work. So I know we had a podcast recently on strategy ladders. So we might be bringing student work to the room together. We're looking at what each student's thinking looks like, and we're placing them into different groups. We might be coming up with an intervention plan. So you might take students who need strategy A. I'm going to take students who need strategy B. You're going to take the students who need strategy C during our intervention flexible block, and we're working together on that. So a lot of different things we could do, and even learning together as well.
Yeah. I mean, so it sounds like the goal is... It's not like the goal being, oh, we're going to get all our work done necessarily. It's we're going to choose the things that the product will be better because we're all talking about it, right? Like in that example you just shared, the strategies, it's not, okay, you're coming up with a strategy and you're coming up with a strategy. And you get a car, and you get a car. But it's like, okay, well, let's talk about what would be the best thing. And we're going to share some ideas and then determine one to try for students in an intervention group, right? Is that a little bit of the collaboration
it's putting all
piece,
of those
right?
ideas on the table and figuring out which one's going to be best.
And being able to go back and forth to say, like, why one strategy would work or wouldn't work, or kind of teasing out what's best for the students in front of us, not what worked best for kids last year. And some of that, it's a little messy, right? It takes some work and some trust, and but it leads to better outcomes, like you said. You know, that because we talked about it, and it wasn't just like something I thought about in the shower that morning, and then I went ahead and tried it in my classroom, you know? It's something that we pooled all of our ideas together and really tried to build something from the ground up.
Yeah, it's grappling with things and then coming to some consensus on it. Yeah.
Right.
So there will certainly be times when CLTs do have to cooperate, right? Because as we were sharing, it does sound like that's the way that a lot of work gets done in schools. And there are some small shifts that a team could make to start moving, not necessarily away from getting tasks done like they would in cooperation mode, but like moving towards collaboration. So what are some of those small steps?
Yeah, so you want to be sure that you don't just, upend your entire CLT and how you've been doing things. Because we want to start small to figure out, like, how can we shift? Because, like you said, some of those cooperation things that we do are still things that we need to get done to support our students. But you might start with, like, co-creating a common goal. You only have 1 hour a week to meet with your team. And when we did the math, like last year or the year before, that's only 40 hours a year. So let's decide, what do we want to use that time together with? Is it maybe we are working on something during our intervention block and we want to target our time for that? Or maybe we want to target our time towards looking at assessment data.
Yeah,
whatever
determining
it might
the
be.
rigor of a standard, something like that. Yeah.
So then our agenda items are geared towards that, and we can collaborate around it.
And I think that having the goal is so important, because then we're able to sort of think about formalizing our work and thinking about what are our structures that we have in place and our protocols that we're using. What are our working agreements that we might need to ensure that we're accomplishing that big goal.
Yes, yeah. Because when we get off that, then sometimes it's hard to stay focused on that goal. And that's when we are like, oh, time's up. So you do this part, you do this part, you do that part. And then we kind of shift back into cooperating.
Right.
Yeah.
And having that collective responsibility is important too. Of when we're coming to collaborate, we're thinking about all students, and I'm setting aside my agenda of just my classroom and what takes place in my classroom, and trusting that if we have a strong, tight PLC process on our team, that my instructional planning is going to be so much easier when I go back to my room, right? I'm going to know what I need to get done, even if I'm not dividing and conquering like we may have done in the past.
And another strategy, I think sometimes why cooperating, we lean more towards cooperating sometimes, is because it's an easy way to make nice with everybody, right? If we all do our part, we go away, we come back. And collaboration,
It's group work.
Collaboration is messy.
Yeah.
There are disagreements that happen. We have to advocate for different ideas. And so if your team has an understanding that you may be navigating some challenges together, or there might be some messiness, having those structures available to support your team, so when it is hard work or we have to figure things out together, no one leaves with hurt feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just kind of know we're going to be rolling up our sleeves and getting dirty, as we like talk about different ideas, and walk away to get the best outcomes for our students.
So we have an activity that we're going to share that really kind of brings to life this idea, and it's an interesting sort of grounding that you could use with your team, and it's a shipwrecked activity. So we don't want to give too much away, but it does sort of place you like out of a school environment and invites you to think about if you were to try to tackle a challenge independently, but at the same time as other people versus collaboratively with others. So we're going to share that shipwrecked activity with you on our Instagram account, which is at FCPS_PD. And we'll also share it on our Atlas page in FCPS. You can find it by searching PD on the Go. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you join us next week for more PD on the Go.